Here's a doozy for fraud law review. This one's bad. This came out just the other day on February 2nd at the reporting site of the OIG of the SSA, Office of Inspector General. This is where I always get my reports from, usually. Okay, so again, this is out of Missouri. I feel like we have a lot of stuff coming out of Missouri. I'm not sure what's going on with people in Missouri. No offense, people of Missouri, but I just feel like there's a lot of them coming out on this page. Anyway, this one's really bad. There has been an indictment by a grand jury, which is not a conviction. So I'm not going to say the lady's name because she is entitled to due process and the presumption of innocence until otherwise proven guilty. Okay, so this is what supposedly happened. This lady, 51 years old, she's been indicted on a bunch of things: 10 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of use of a counterfeit access device, and 4 counts of aggravated identity theft. It gets really bad. It reminds me of a movie I saw not too long ago. This indictment accuses her of using the personal information of a widower and fraudulently obtaining financial power of attorney to access the credit and debit cards and financial accounts of the victim, who was a 74-year-old gentleman widower. And it seems like he was in a nursing home when this happened. Apparently, the alleged perp, the lovely 51-year-old lady, not so lovely, notified the administrators of the fellow's nursing home that she was seeking emergency guardianship of him. This is all in the indictment. And she concealed the existence of her victim's half-sister. And I presume that would be because maybe relatives have to be notified in case they should be stepping in. This alleged perp told the widower's son that she would manage his financial affairs. The alleged perp apparently went to the victim's home in Berkeley, Missouri to locate personal identifying information. How did she get in there? I wonder if she had a key or if she broke in. Just wondering. It was to locate personal identifying information, to identify his financial accounts and take possession of his debit and credit cards and obtain samples of his handwriting. This is what the indictment says. When the widower refused to sign power of attorney authorizing her to manage his financial affairs, she went ahead anyway and added his name to a form in which she sought a court appointment to be guardian and conservator. And that form had already been notarized, it says. So obviously that's really big, bad fraud. Notaries can't just hand out notarized blank statements so people can fill them in with whatever they want. She obtained online, this is what the indictment says, she obtained online access to his financial accounts, added herself as a beneficiary, changed his contact information on financial accounts to her own Georgia address, and emailed the bogus power of attorney document to the financial institutions involved. By doing this, she obtained more than $300,000 by selling shares of this gentleman's investment accounts, transferring funds out of his bank accounts, drawing checks for her own benefit and the benefit of others, conducting electronic funds transfers to pay her own bills, and redirecting the gentleman's pension and retirement checks to her personal and business bank accounts. Can anything be more evil? I'm sure things can be more evil, but this is pretty bad. The wire fraud charge they're telling us here is punishable by up to 20 years in prison. The counterfeit access device charge carries a maximum prison term of 10 years. And the aggravated identity theft carries a penalty of 2 years in prison, consecutive to all other charges. It says that each charge also has the possibility of a fine of up to $250,000. And if convicted, restitution would be mandatory. You know, restitution is all fine and dandy, and I think it should be ordered. But how many times is restitution not possible, though? I mean, you can be ordered to pay something, but if the person no longer has the money, you can't really get blood from a stone. I think the order should be there in case they come into money, for sure, or if the money they had is located. But sometimes I think it's just a biteless bark. Um, as always, I see this all the time in here, and I commend it. They do state that charges set forth in an indictment are merely accusations and do not constitute proof of guilt. Every defendant is presumed to be innocent unless and until proven guilty. Amen to that. This was a combined effort of investigation between the SSA OIG and the Maryland Heights Police Department. Huh. Wow, Maryland. Yet it's out of Missouri. And the lady lived in Georgia. Apparently she turned herself in to the authorities in Georgia. So she's not a fugitive. But this is pretty bad. I don't know. They don't really give us the duration of how long she was doing this kind of behavior, but there was a lot of acts. It wasn't like one act or two act and then, the person stopped or maybe just got impeded. There is a lot of really, really bad behavior. Getting that false notarized statement to get guardianship or conservatorship over him, that takes away someone's total power. The movie I'm referring to that I saw, it's a dark comedy, but I highly recommend it. It was called, and I don't remember the people's names in it, but you'll recognize a lot of the faces. I Care a Lot. It was on Netflix. I Care a Lot. And it is an incredible story of an entire scheme with multiple people, including the main star, who kind of reminds me of this 51-year-old lady, so sophisticatedly getting all of this control over another person's wherewithal and body and finances. And you notice in this case, like many, I think, he clearly had money that he had worked hard for all his life, saved, invested, all that. And that's like a big lure, I think, for these greedy con artist type people who don't like to work for their money, but like to live off other people's. That is not to say, though, that we don't see fraud against people that only have, say, $1,500 a month Social Security and they're living off of it. The fact that he was in a nursing home probably had a bit to do with it, because a chance of proving guardianship might be better if there's, he's clearly not able to do certain things for himself. Doesn't mean guardianship is appropriate, doesn't mean he needs it just because he's in a nursing home, but maybe that was part of the draw. I've done some other videos on the fraud against seniors. I think I did one specifically on widower. I have had such in my family be conned repeatedly. And sometimes it's really hard to get people to realize that they are being conned. They've been massaged and flattered, and somehow their brains fly out the window. Now, in this case, the gentleman refused to give her guardianship or POA, financial power of attorney, it says. And that's when she did some forging, apparently, and maybe with a false notarization. So he clearly wasn't going along with this. I'd be so interested in knowing, they should make a movie out of this one. I'm so interested in knowing the details. It's a shame. It looks like it may have worked out okay, hopefully, but I don't know if they're ever going to get that money back. If she blew it or she sent it to some place where you can't get it back, what's this guy going to have? Now, granted, he's 74 in a nursing home. Maybe he wasn't coming home anyway, but those monies probably supported him being in a decent nursing home, as opposed to, a less decent one, because they obviously get paid. So who knows? I would love to know more about it, though. But of course, these are just kind of short little reports. Anyway, what do you think her punishment should be? I say the full 9 yards. Give her the 20 for the wire fraud. Give it all of it. I think she shouldn't be walking out in public. She's going to be unable to refrain from doing this again, in my opinion. That's just what I think. All right, guys, what do you think? Bye now.